Hey guys, I thought I'd try something a little new here and maybe make a few how-to videos with painting just to kind of help you guys along. So I guess to start with, it's important to prime your models that don't come primed. I like to use this aerosol gray primer. This focused here. Aerosol just because it's easy, but they also do make little bottles of primer that you just brush on. What else? Something else you're going to need is a wide variety of brushes, at least 3 kinds. Let me grab them here. You're going to want a big fat one here for doing like base coats just so it goes faster. You'll want a fan brush that is nice and thin. This will be for your dry brushing. You'll want something comparatively finer than your big fat one. And ideally, but not required, is one that's even finer still. And of course you're going to need your variety of paint colors. But something that beginners a lot of times don't know they need are washes. This is obviously a black wash, mid-brown, soft tone. The browns are more important for kind of organic humanoid colors or humanoid figures, animals, stuff like that. But black is also good for armor and robots like I'm going to be doing. But this will probably, I'll show you how to use these in a different video. It won't be this one right away. Something else that's really nice to have, which no sponsorship deals here, are these Citadel miniature holders. They have a variety of adapters here for round bases, square bases, or hex bases here. They're spring loaded, so they hold your miniatures for you, and upside down, left and right. And it's great because you don't then have to be touching this while you're painting it. And like me, I actually have several of these, so I can have multiple miniatures going at the same time. And something else that's nice to have, but I guess not really required, is just a little paint basin here. I think I got this at Michael's for like $2. And I usually keep a couple of those filled with water. I actually have one I'm using down here on the base. Something that's often overlooked and is really important is some type of brush cleaner. I got this at Michael's. I think it was 10 or 12 bucks. Washing out your brushes in water is okay. Like, it's what I do when I'm going through the process of painting. But when I finish up for the day, I use something like this, where it's actually a soap that you get your brush wet and kind of just rub it in there and soak it in the bristles, and then you kind of shape it when you're done with it. Just kind of, it's dual purpose. It cleans the paint off the bristles better than just water, and it also is kind of a trainer where it helps the bristles keep the shape that you want. And this is lasting for a very long time. This is already a couple months old and it's barely made a dent. So it's worth your money. But this is by no means the only kind, but something you should probably look into. So kind of to finish off this video, I am just going to put a green base coat on this locust here, because I'll use it for a different video later on. So the way I like to do it is I start with a darker color, because I am eventually going to finish kind of with this Viper green. It's a nice solid green. And I'm going to base it with a much darker green, but it's still in the same kind of green family. So let's go ahead and get started. If you don't want to watch me base, which is pretty much a boring process, you can stop the video now if you want. And don't use a whole lot of paint at once. Like, here's my paint palette here. As you can see, I've got 2 filled with water, and then that's just a small amount of green to start with. So I use my big old fat brush and just start going to town on it. Nothing too, I got way too much paint on that. That's also, I guess that's a good thing to point out. Don't get way too much paint on your brushes where you're actually like filling in detail, because these paints flow out pretty good, which I'm using mostly VSP and Vallejo stuff, by the way. Most of these paints flow out pretty good, but if you fill in a big line or something, With too much paint, it will disappear and fill in, like you can kind of tell here, if I can get my camera to focus on it, that I've lost some of the detail in this leg hole here because I just got way too much paint in there. So I can just kind of use that as a pickup point and just kind of dab some of the paint out of there and use it in other places. And I'm seeing I don't have great light, so I'll try to fix that in the next video. But yeah, just trying to not overfill the details. And there's really not a trick to this. Of course, it's faster if you have an airbrush, but come on, let's be honest, which one of us actually has an airbrush? This is pretty boring to watch, even me doing it, so I think I'm going to end this video here. We'll pick up with this miniature later, and I plan to kind of show you how to take this one through to completion. I've got a red charger here. I guess I need to clean my whiteboard now. That I will also do a video on. I plan to do kind of a tutorial with black that will hopefully kind of show you how to pick out details where, like now in this video, you can't really see anything what's going on with this model. I'll kind of show you how to bring out some of the details without hopefully turning it completely gray. And if I get around to it, I'm doing this Banshee in a two-tone, white on its right side, obviously, and it's going to be blue on the left. So I'll show you how to do whites, which are probably the worst, and how to do blues. But in the meantime, we'll stop there.